Alright guys, back with another video. My name is Andres Aguirre with Collabs Estates, and today we're diving into how to crush those objections on the phone. Whether you're wholesaling real estate or you're selling digital products, let's get right into it. So, get hit with "I'm not interested," or "I need to think about it," or the classic "Is this a scam?" I get that all the time when I'm on the phone. But here's a secret: objections aren't rejections, they're invitations to get better. Okay, the more that you get someone to say no to you, the more it's closer to a yes. Okay, the reason why people are more naturally to say no is because as humans, we're naturally distant. We're naturally, as human beings, we don't like the uncomfortableness of something we don't know. And so how can they know what you're trying to get them to do or trying to get them to buy is actually not good enough for them if they don't know truly what it is? So you really have to make sure that when they're saying no, you're pushing for a yes as much as possible. First off, you don't want to panic when someone throws out an objection. They're not shutting you down. They're not telling you what they need to feel safe, right? We just talked about that. And then people are naturally uncomfortable on the phone, and they don't necessarily give you a yes right away, unless they really do already have research about your company, or maybe they have research on your product that they already know that they want it. You really gotta sell past that no, get to that yes. The job is to listen and to clarify exactly what you're doing. For example, if the client says, "That sounds too good to be true," you say, "Totally, I get that. Is it the timeline that feels too fast, or just how the process works?" You want to able to ask clarifying questions so that you can understand better of what the client wants. Now, found method. So essentially how this would turn out for you is, this is one of my favorite frameworks, the feel found method. It's gold. So essentially what you do is, I totally understand how you feel. A lot of people felt the same way at first. What they found was that once they saw how simple the process really is, it actually made sense for them. This works for anything that you're going for, whether that's wholesaling or a digital product. These are the things that you want to tell the client when you're on the phone. Now, if it comes to the price, you're overcoming a price objection. Now, what you do is you do this. So whether it's a wholesale deal fee or a digital course price, objections are always preceded by value. Your job is to build that value before the price ever comes up. That's key, guys. You want to make sure that you're giving them all the information of what they're about to get into, what they're about to sign off on, what they're about to buy. So what you would say is this: "Look, I hear you. It's an investment, but let's break down what you're actually getting and what it could cost you if you wait." Offer a real life example of a ROI or a success story. For example, if you're trying to get someone who's essentially waiting on the market to change, well, you can always tell them, "Look, I know you're waiting for the market to change, but this price is not promised for tomorrow, and tomorrow's price is not promised for the next day. Prices go up and down, and right now is the price that we have it at right now, and that's the fluctuating market that we're in. If they continue to go past that, then they're really not motivated to sell. They just wanted to get an idea what their house is worth and what the product is that you're selling is really about." Now, this is where you try to trust. So essentially how this one would go is, look, people get burnt, whether it's a skeptical word, or maybe that's why the transparent builds that trust. But most of the time, people don't know what they don't know. So all you gotta do is say this: "Look, I get it. Trust takes time. That's why I'm keeping everything in writing, and I'm happy to walk you through it line by line. And you can check out our reviews or testimonials if that helps." And you get them to understand that, look, you're not dealing with someone who's just randomly calling you and trying to screw you out of some money. You're actually giving them a product. You're actually giving them a program that actually works. For example, me, I do a lot of novation agreements, and they don't know 9 times out of 10 what a novation agreement is. So what they would do typically is they'll get they'll have a safeguard up, and they don't want to hear it. And so until you actually break down what the process looks like and what the program consists of, then that barrier can be broken down, and you can make them understand what it is that you're trying to do for them. So the next one is the power of silence. Key, guys, when you're on the phone, the more silent you are, the more it gives them to talk about their situation, themselves, and you get to build a lot of rapport doing that. Obviously, you don't want to be too silent, not ask the questions you need to ask, but typically you want them to be the ones talking more than you. So, for example, what you'll do is here's a ninja trick move most people forget. You guys shut up. After you respond to an objection, pause and let them process what you just said. Silence is confidence, right? So you about to give them a big number, right? My underwriting team came back with the offer. Now, before you hang up, before you do anything, the reason why this offer is where it's at is because this, and that, right? You give the breakdown of why you're telling them the price is going to be that, and then you give them the price. The house offered is going to be coming at $329,000. Pause. Shut up. Don't say anything. Let them hear that. Even if it gets kind of awkward after the 10-15 seconds, if they don't say anything, you ask them, okay, how does that sound? And then let them get the feedback, negative or positive, and then go from there. But you want to be more silent than anything else when you're giving them big things in the conversation, so that way they can talk. This is the free frame of rejection part of the call. So essentially, your motivation, your tone may be black and white effect. So essentially, kind of how I was saying earlier, not every no is the end. Sometimes it's just not now. So you want to follow up with them, build a relationship. You're playing the long game for some of these clients, for some of these people. You want to follow up with them. So you can say, hey, look, let's follow up, just checking in. I know time is everything. We're still doing X, Y, and Z if you're open to exploring. That's more later on in the call. If that first call, that second call didn't go as planned, and you want to make sure that you follow up every single time that you're on the phone with these clients. You want to make sure you set up a follow call. Hey, I'll call you next week. Hey, I'll call you on Monday. Hey, I'll call you in 2 days. And you want to be strict on that, because the follow-up is key. And there's so many deals that you can lose, so many products that you cannot sell if you do not follow up. So then the next one is the call action. So if you got the value from this, smash that like button, subscribe for more sales game, and drop a comment with your toughest objection. I got your back. I'm trying to help you see how you can overcome that. And then you can either book a full free call with me. I'm always giving free game, and you can download the objection script I have down below for you. I'm a go-giver. At the end of the day, I don't charge for this stuff, and I want to make sure that I get as much free game as possible out to all you guys, so that you guys can perform the best when you're on calls and when you're doing your business. So if you love anything that I said, please give me a subscribe, a like, and a share for this video. Thank you.